What are you going to do when your galaxy's overrun by ruthless aliens?
I
You-
don't know. Buy a gigabyte
You're
motherboard.
going to get a gigabyte motherboard and you're going to defend your galaxy from those aliens. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Cam Dozer here, along with Azimo Cutie. Now, we do want to just quickly clarify, it did look like we had a just a little bit of an inaccuracy on our bracket graphic that we took before the break. So we are going to clarify here. It looks like it's going to be Trump and Roger and Calento versus Lemurian in the in the semifinals. Whereas before the break, we had it as Calento versus Trump. Just want to clarify, it is in fact going to be these matches.
Yeah, our wonderful admins called us stupid, slapped us across the face,
Well, that's right.
and then said, these are the real brackets.
Yeah, they're always taking care of us, those admins. So now, with Trump versus Roger, anything you can say about this matchup as far as maybe giving the advantage to one player or the other?
Roger has had a lot of really close games, a lot of really close matches that have come down to Game 5 or just really close individual games as well, whereas Trump had a pretty smooth ride through his wins yesterday. The one thing, though, playing at best of 5 already today, Roger, he's warmed up.
Sure.
He's familiar with his decks. Since he won the series, he's played all 3 of his decks already today. We saw last week the player that automatically qualified for the semifinals lost in both semifinals. Probably maybe because they just weren't warmed up. So I hope Trump took some time to play a little bit with his decks, to get himself in the mindset to play some competitive Hearthstone. But I think this is going to be a close one. And judging by their decks here, nobody really has a big advantage. There is a chance for Trump to sort of run away with it if he gets good matchups. And right off the bat, this one is probably one of the ones that he wanted to get. It's his Mech Mage versus Druid. And Mech Mage is really great versus Druid. The only way Druid can really win this is if they get really great start with either heavy ramp with Innovator Wild Growth or just have removal for days in their opening hand.
So then, if you're the Druid and you're going up against Mech Mage, what's the mulligan you're looking for? You probably want a Wrath in there.
Yeah.
You almost always want a Wild Growth.
Yeah, Wrath, Wild Growth.
Keeper?
Keeper, yeah, Keeper's fantastic, or something big with the Innervate. That's pretty much it. You want Wrath is the most important because you need to take out that Mech Warper right away.
Right.
Because Mech Warper comes out, you get a turn 2 Spider Tank, turn 3 Powder Shredder. There's not really a way that you're going to come back from that as a Druid player. So you need answers for that for the Mech Warper early on.
All right, and of course the Mage going to probably mulligan just as you do in any old matchup. Just give me that Mech Warper, give me some nice good mechs to
cover
get this
the whole
thing
card
started.
except for the mana cost and just get rid of everything unless it's 1 or 2.
Yeah, pretty much. Not going to probably see anything too wild there. So it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup, though. I think, I don't really know who I think is going to win this one. It's really hard to say.
Yeah, I actually think Roger's going to win.
Do you? Okay. How come?
I'm going with that whole momentum thing.
All right.
A lot of people underestimate the power of momentum in competitive Hearthstone. When a player's on, when they feel good, it says a lot about how they play. They take risks that they wouldn't have otherwise taken. They play more aggressive in certain matchups. And I think that's usually the way that you win more consistently. And since Roger has already won that best of 5 today against Tom, who's a fantastic player, really strong player, he's feeling good.
Sure.
He's like, my decks are great.
Yeah.
I won, and especially in Conquest, I won with all my decks. Trump ain't got nothing.
Well, we'll see. There's definitely something to be said about that, too, because Hearthstone's such a mental game. It doesn't require any sort of insane dexterity for your fingers or anything like some of the other games out there do. It's really 100% mental. And I was actually talking to Life Coach about that earlier this week, and he had some really interesting thoughts. He said, the mind is everything. It is what separates me from the animal. You know, my body is useless. Look at my body, and then look at that of a lion. You know?
And then he took a sip of his herb tea.
Yes, exactly. So if Roger is in a better mental frame of mind right now, then yeah, absolutely makes sense. He would probably have the advantage then.
Yeah. Mechanics are underrated in Hearthstone, though. I was talking to Lead Paint, and he said that you really need good concede mechanics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He said he used to be a competitive World of Warcraft player, and then his computer broke, and so he couldn't keep up with like the heavy mechanics. and so he worked on his ability to concede before his opponent gets in the last point of lethal mechanics.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very good. You got to anticipate too, because sometimes your opponent is going to purposefully wait for it to rope.
Yeah.
Because, well, if you're one of those guys, I don't know why you do it exactly, other than to bother me.
Yeah.
So you got to really kind of try to deny that last point on the beatdown quest.
Or your ability to get a boot in the garden.
Oh, yeah.
Your ability to time the rocket with your lethal.
See, I'm more of a fan of just commit the honorable Sudoku, if possible. Ping myself in the face if I'm playing mage, no problem. I've even put down Akanai and pinged myself as a priest.
Yeah.
Pretty rough. So just so you know, guys, as well, it looks like Trump needs just another minute or two here before he's going to be ready to play. He is almost ready, I'm being told. So do you think maybe he's taking this time to psych out his opponent? Is he like icing the kicker here in Hearthstone?
Yeah. he's on his tablet right now, like trying to play a couple games with his with his mage. Like, oh, I forgot to practice this morning. let me get in a couple matches, but. I think this is a little bit early for Trump. He usually starts streaming like what, around 12, around noon. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm being told the Mulligans are ready. Here we go. Game 1. And yeah. All right. He's got the wild growth already. Roger does. So you got to feel pretty good about that.
Swipe usually isn't as powerful against Mech Mage as it is against other aggressive classes, because a lot of times you're only able to clear one creature with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless they put down the Clockwork Gnome, you know.
Yeah.
The Clockwork Gnome's probably realistically the only time now.
That is disgusting.
That is an insane hand. That's the second time we've seen Trump in a row with the Mech Mage get one of those hands that you look at and you just wonder, is there any way that he can lose this game?
Yeah. Innervate Shade is a great way to stop it. Because you can kill the first thing.
Yeah.
Mech Warper comes out right now, you can kill it. And that's actually a pretty big deal because he can wild growth the next turn as well. It's whether or not he can keep up with all the other threats that are going to be laid.
Right, yeah, and we'll definitely have to see. It's one of those plays that in the matchup as the Druid versus sort of aggro, you want to reveal that Shade early, because sometimes the Shade getting some sort of a 2-for-1 trade is actually better than having a big 7/7 Shade later on in the game when you've already taken so much damage.
Yeah. And it's a tough play because he wants to...
Yeah, what's he thinking about here? Is he debating probably to coin the Mech Warper or not?
Yeah.
Or even maybe, since he sees the Shade, to coin the Annoyatron now?
I think if anything, he would, if he coined, he would play the Mad Scientist.
Okay.
Because most likely a Zombie Child would have come out on turn 1 if it was available.
Right.
And that's about the only good target a Druid can give to a mirror entity. But goes ahead and plays the Cogmaster. This is a smart play because next turn he can hide his Mech Warper behind an Annoyatron.
All right, and taking the safe play too, revealing the Shade to get the Cogmaster out of the way early. Wow, both Mech Warpers.
Oh my.
So you Mech Warper, coin Mech Warper, Annoyatron.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, Trump, you are too good at top decking in the Mech Mage matchup.
Yeah.
Wow.
He doesn't have any mechs anymore in his hand to benefit from that. Like having Mad Scientist and Mirror Entity in your hand is not that great.
Yeah.
But this isn't that bad for Roger, actually. He's got Bolt Wild Growth, so he's going to ramp up. Next turn, he can Druid of the Claw. He clears the Annoyatron this turn, and he'll have to trade in a Mech plus a ping to be able to kill this. Oh, no, just
the Mech Warper will be fine here.
Yeah. Or Frostbolt's
or even
good.
Frostbolt.
Actually,
I feel like I'd Mirror Entity and just let him have one Mech Warper.
Yeah.
Because Mirror Entity, I feel like Mirror Entity is really strong against my Druid deck.
Yeah, especially since he just ramped up.
Exactly.
You want to make sure that whatever strong creature he's going to play next, you're going to get one too.
Yeah, exactly. 3 mana for a 5-drop, no problem.
Yeah, sweet deal, buddy.
Yep.
This is actually... putting in charge mode and making a trade like that is really smart play.
Definitely the better option.
Dr. Boone's going to come out next turn.
And that's Trump, actually, even in spite of that start.
Yeah. He's already out of cards.
He's already out of cards. You can't play Antonitis for 3 more turns. Realistically, usually 4 or 5 more turns until you have a spare part to get the immediate effect out of it.
Yeah, at least with the Clockwork Nomi, he's going to get one of those spare parts. So he's at least going to turn it into a fireball. And here, I mean, this is at the point in the game where you just sort of have to get a little bit desperate as the Mech Mage. He'll probably just try and go face with everything he has in the next couple of turns. You can't play board control in the later stages of the game as a Mech Mage. Cross your fingers for some top decks.
Yep. All right. Roger stabilizing here. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
Ancient of Lore to refill his hand.
Exactly. This is going to be an uphill battle from this point moving forward for Trump. Oof. Not sure what he's going to be able to pull out of his hat to do this one. Blast Mage can't even activate. It's just a 5/4 body right now.
What to do?
Ugh.
What to do?
Ping face. Well, he's going to get the mirror entity out here just so he can try and get something.
Right.
But really is just such a rough spot.
Yeah, Roger could wind up with 2 Ancient Allures here.
Yeah. Like mirror entity.
He's wondering if he's already got it with Savage Roar Swipe. Does he? So that would be 7 plus 9, 16 plus the swipe.
Damage.
It's short.
Yeah. Actually, no, he does have it.
Wait.
With Hero Power Swipe. 9 plus 7 is 16, plus the 3 damage from face is 19, plus
Yeah,
the
he's
swipe.
counting it.
That's 9. Yeah, he does it. That's exact lethal.
All right, there you have it, Roger.
We can count!
Yeah, we did it. We did it, Reddit.
We did it.
We got one. we
got one.
You know, it's funny is we still questioned ourselves almost the whole time. We're like, wait.
Wait a second, that can't be right.
I don't know.
If we say it's lethal, it's definitely not lethal.
All right, so Trump can't feel very good about the way that one shaped out, too, because after having that start, that explosive and powerful of a start, only to get the Druid to 24 health by the time he stabilizes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a rough matchup. Not going to lie.
Yeah, Roger had, I mean, just doing Druid things, had Innervate both Wild Growths in his first 5 cards.
Yeah.
Having an Innervate Shade is a really big deal because it's similar to Wrath in the fact that you're able to deal with the first creature, whether it be Cogmaster or Clockwork Gnome. Not even Clockwork Gnome because you just hear power down. Mech Warper the most, though. And then he was just able to ramp up anyway with the Wild Growth. He played that exceptionally well, playing into the Mirror Entity with the charge Druid of the Claw. That was sort of the turning point because that was the play where Trump was hoping to get a foothold.
Right.
But he really just didn't get much of anything from the Mirror Entity.
Yeah, absolutely. Using that shade quite effectively, not getting greedy with it or anything, just says, all right, I got to slow this down. And if I do, then I'm in pretty good shape.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, so now as we move into match 2, Trump, stick with the mage, right?
Oh, yeah, there's not really any reason not to. He's got good matchups against mostly anything that Roger can throw at him.
Right.
Warlock, Mech Mage does pretty well against Warlock because they can just have burn. Mech Mage is fantastic against Rogue as long as Rogue doesn't have a ridiculous starting hand.
Right, you can just keep putting on that pressure. And here it is. Roger's going to go with the Rogue, and Trump's sticking with the Mage.
And Trump has also teched in those Water Elementals.
That's right.
That just increases the effectiveness of his matchup against Oil Rogues, Paladins, and Warriors.
That must have been, the more I think about it, the more I realize what a great anti-meta tech choice that really is.
Yeah, for sure, because he knew a lot of people, I mean, even it's good against Druid, because it negates their hero power.
Yeah, I mean, you still see Warriors all over the place in tournaments. Rogue is obviously everywhere right now. And even Paladin, still a really well-represented class.
Yeah,
I love it.
Every single player, besides Tom, had a Rogue, a Paladin, or a Warrior. So... that really tells you something.
Yeah.
And even Tom had a druid, so.
And he's got the Chugga Chugga
Yeah.
in the starting hand.
If
If he can get that thing going and keep it safe, although it's going to be difficult with SI7. If he can get it down to 2 health.
Mm-hmm. SI7 agent keeps it great with the coin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh, Lotheb as well. Lotheb is,
in this matchup, really important card.
especially as mech mage. Sometimes a rogue will set up following turns.
Mm-hmm.
With like he'll dagger up and hit something, set up the Blade Flurry for next turn, or just make big setup plays that are usually pretty obvious, pretty telegraphed.
Uh-huh.
Lotheb can't just protect your board. It just locks the rogue out of being able to do anything because most of their turns are spell based.
Right.
Even SI7, in order to combo it, usually they use a spell.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, Mech Mage getting out to this kind of standard early start. Got some minions on the board already.
Mm-hmm.
And now Roger's got to figure out how he wants to deal with this.
He's got double sap, double prep in his hand right now. So, prep, Fan and Knives into SI agent.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty clean.
Yeah. Well, it's not the cleanest, but this is even better because he can deadly poison and SI. I don't know if he wants to do that though. That's a little bit wasteful. Because the SI7 agent is going to trade into the Spider Tank. If he doesn't, and he'll have the deadly poison to be able to hit in Blade Flurry.
Now, I think what he wants to do here is actually dagger the Spider Tank, SI7 the Spider Tank. That way he's not going to wind up giving his opponent an SI on this turn.
Yeah.
Oh, but he chooses just to dagger up instead. Okay.
If you SI7 agent a mad scientist, you get a SI7 agent from the mirror entity.
Right.
Like it's because it pops on the same turn.
Exactly, yeah.
This could be a pretty juicy Blade Flurry, but I don't know if he. Yeah, I think this is. What is he gonna prep?
Yeah, what is he gonna prep? I guess he's gonna maybe. Oh.
Yeah, that's one of the best targets you can get from Paladin Shredder.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially as a mech mage.
Yeah.
Synergies for days.
He can eat up the.
No, he has to Blade Flurry.
Yeah. He can eat up the mirror entity as well with the Blade Flurry, but I'm sure he wanted that extra 2 damage from the SI agent to go to face. It's really not that big of a deal. It's just a little bit of a nuisance.
Mm-hmm. So now Roger really needs a sprint at this point to kind of get back into this game. And I think Trump, knowing that, drops the Lotheb.
Yeah, Lotheb.
I mean, he has no turn. What are you gonna
dagger up? He could have coined.
Yeah.
And then pass. Coin pass. But he can put out both Chugga Chuggas here.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get, well, no, that's a little bit reckless. But if he, sometimes putting out both Chugga Chuggas is the right way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're taking heat off your other snow chugger.
Right, I was going to say, can you get rid of both of them? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we do see he already has the second Blade Flurry in hand.
Yeah, but he saw a Blade Flurry, so you can be pretty safe about flooding the board a little bit when you see that first Blade Flurry in the first 10 cards.
Yeah.
Because it's unlikely that he'll have the second.
Right. Okay, Roger, he's got these pieces, you know, but he doesn't have all of the pieces he needs.
Yeah, no Sap. Sap doesn't really do anything against Mech Mage because they'll just replay it the next turn.
Yeah, no problem.
And you're not really buying yourself time unless you're playing creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So Sap here would not really do that much. And I mean, he's taking a lot of
damage. He's
damage.
already at 15 health.
Yeah, just from dagger hits. And
against a Mech Mage.
With an Antonitis in hand, plus a Fireball, he doesn't really need that much burn to close out a game.
Nope.
And a Clockwork
And he's got a Clockwork Gnome now, so he can get the Antonitis going on turn 8 potentially.
Yeah, if he gets the finicky cloak field.
Oh, that's the dream right
it's
there.
It's game over.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's putting him at 14 right now.
Yep.
2 fireballs.
2 fireballs paying
just
at
one of these guys
yeah.
lands. And in order to take out both of these targets, he has to hit one of them. So this is just
Yeah, Roger still can't find a sprint.
Has to sap.
All right, what's it going to be? Is it going to be that cloak field?
It really doesn't matter what it is.
Reversing switch?
Because
yeah, I'd still
either
do
way,
it.
he's going to have 2 fireballs in his hand
Yeah.
outside of a heal coming out. This turn, he doesn't even have to play Archmage Antonize. He can just Snow Trigger an Oiltron and... But this is the most reliable way.
Yeah, I think I'd set it up this way as well. Haven't really seen a heal bot or anything out of this rogue, so pretty much guarantees the win right here. Sprint's not going to do it with only 1 mana left, realistically.
Even with coin, there's no way that he could gain enough health.
Yeah.
He only knows that there's 1 fireball in hand.
Well, but even knowing there's 1 fireball in hand, I guess, okay. With the sap, that's true.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because if he just shoots 1, that makes it into second.
Yeah, but that is going to be the game.
Yep, GG, Trump evening up the series with the Mech Mage.
Yeah, the Mech Mage is going to find a win sooner or later.
Yeah.
Against Rogue, it's just so hard for Rogues to be able to deal with that. A lot of times they're taking face damage just from trying to remove the board. He even had both Blade Flurries in early in his deck, in his hand early on, but it just didn't matter.
Yeah. He didn't get to use those Blade Flurries in any sort of an aggressive manner either. It was just strictly, wow, gotta buy time, gotta slow this guy down, and Trump just kept bringing more and more pressure on.
Yeah.
All right, so moving into game 3, Trump finds the win with his Mech Mage. What's he got to choose next? I think it's going to be the Paladin.
Yeah. Warrior seems to be like that last class that players are like, oh, I got to find a win with Warrior. Might as well save it for last.
Now, what do you think about Warrior versus Rogue as a matchup? If you think that your opponent's going to stick with the Rogue he just played.
Yeah, I think Warrior has a definite advantage in that matchup.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe you do go with the Warrior instead of the Paladin.
Yeah, there's so many ways for Warriors to just stay in the game early on.
Right.
And they have so many ways to gain health. A lot of times the Rogue just runs out of damage. And if the Warriors can sometimes get into this position where they're playing the aggressors. If they get a really good curve out early on with like Armor Smiths, Cruel Taskmasters, sometimes they can just force the Rogue to play defensive.
Sure.
And if they're using their cards inefficiently early on to remove like weak Warrior cards, then that's exactly what Warriors want to be. So then they can use that late game to just armor up, armor up, armor up. The Rogue's inevitably going to run out of damage.
Yeah. All right, well, we will see him going into game 3, what it's going to be. Do you think that he will stick with the Rogue, though?
Yeah. Roger does it. Well, yeah, I think he's going to stick with the Rogue.
Oh, no, going over to the lock. All right, interesting.
This is bold. This is really bold.
Mm-hmm.
He might have been thinking that Trump was going to throw out the Warrior next, but Paladin seems like the most likely choice, just because Warrior, of course, seems like that deck that a lot of people go with as their sort of ace deck. Paladin has, I think, a better matchup against Warlock than it does against the Rogue.
Okay.
And so he was definitely expecting and hoping to play against the Warrior here with that Warlock switch.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's got to be probably feeling maybe a little disappointed then to see the Paladin.
Yeah, for sure. Because if he had stick with Rogue and Trump had taken the Paladin, Rogue is just great against Paladin. They have so many tools. A lot of time, Blade Flurry can just lock them out of the game. Fan and Knives for Muster for Battle is one of the cleanest ways to be able to deal with it.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit unfortunate, but this matchup is still relatively even. We saw yesterday the power of the Paladin, though, when he gets the right draws at the right times, because they can just completely negate a lot of what a Warlock can do, especially traditional handlock, because they have Outdoor Peacekeepers for Giants, BGH, Equality, and they put on so much pressure that sometimes just one of those cards at the right time can allow them to push through. Yeah.
Well, Trump fans will be spamming "da" in chat right now as they see that hand before the mulligans. See what else he picks up. All right, well, he's got the BGH already, in case it's a hand lock, is what he's probably thinking. Feels pretty good.
So this is the first game that Roger has not had either a Twilight Drake or Mountain Giant.
That's right. Hand. Well, he's got 3 turns to tap into one.
That's very true. Very true. That would have been, I think, one of those coin tap situations.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have neither, like you were saying yesterday.
Yeah, the only thing is that he would have to play the Ancient Watcher on one of the turns before he would hit like turn 4 because he'd overdraw, or he wouldn't be able to play his Twilight Drake or Mountain Giant cleanly on curve.
So what's the argument here between mini bot and hero power for Trump on turn 2?
I think he just wants to cash in on the hero power as much as possible.
Okay.
It's tough to say, but Paladins have 2 different ways to look at this matchup, and Warlocks have a couple different ways to play it as well. You can go all-out aggression and hope you draw into the qualities when you need them, hope you draw into like the VGH when you need it, or the cards like that. Or you can just hero power early on, still do almost as much damage, but play around cards like Hellfire and Shadowflame a little bit more.
Yeah, okay.
Because right now, he's still putting on some pressure, but those cards just aren't going to do as much damage as they were, as they would have been before.
Sure. All right, so both Ancient Watchers down and Sun Fury Protector. Gonna keep his face safe for a little while longer.
Still no threats.
Yeah.
They're hiding. They're tired of working.
For great justice, they are hiding.
Yeah. Oh, well, a Quartermaster. He could cash in on those little guys.
Yeah, that'll help him actually get through this wall.
Yeah, it doesn't help him that much though. He'd still have to throw a lot of damage into both these to get through it. I mean, he could just wait.
Yeah, I mean, you can always get through one at least right now with one recruit and your Shredder.
Yeah, Shadowflame is always a little bit
Fairy Dragon.
A little bit risky to not play around.
Right.
But he could have just like hero powered and then waited to try and get a little bit more value out of Quartermaster the following turn.
So he's probably, all right.
Yeah. This is he clears the board this way.
Yeah.
While still leaving a 3/2. So he plays around Shadowflame.
Yep.
Still doesn't overextend too much. Consecrate isn't that powerful in this matchup because usually the only other time you use it is when you're quality consecrating.
Right.
And a lot of times Paladins will have a board when the Warlock builds up a wall. So equality and just throwing your board into it is just about the same thing.
So why the Loatheb over the Sledge Belcher? I feel like this isn't a turn the Paladin really wants to play spells anyway.
I don't know. I would like the Sledge Belcher there, actually.
That's what I'm thinking as well, because after you just played your spell, and you've only got a 3/2 on the board, that's not the turn you're going to play more spells as the Paladin. That's the turn you're going to start laying down some minions. So I'm a little confused as to why he would have gone with the Loatheb instead of the Belcher.
What I can think of is that he just wanted as much power as possible.
Yeah.
Because Loatheb isn't really a leverage tool like it is against other classes.
Mm-hmm.
Paladin isn't going to burst you down with spells. They don't have big power turns with spells. You can't really predict a lay on hands because it's not really like a turn 8 power play.
Right.
And being able to do this in turn, not having a play after the Loatheb, being able to have a bigger body that you can hide behind the Sledge Belcher later.
There you go.
Like forcing damage into it and then forcing your opponent to trade inefficiently into a Sledge Belcher to get past it to get to your Loatheb.
Right. All right, well, that Whirling Zap-O-Matic. And then he's got the Belcher, too, to keep it safe. Finally, a Twilight Drake coming off the top here.
Yeah, it's about dang time.
Yep, seems like a pretty clear Hellfire play there. Kind of reset the board, but now you're already down to 16 health, and you don't have either of your Molten Giants.
No, that's a little bit of a rough spot.
It's a scary place to be.
He's going to have to tap in order to try and draw into those, which is just going to give time for Trump to build up a board.
Mm-hmm.
Trump doesn't have really strong plays, though. I was going to say, this is a prime turn for lay on hands.
Yeah.
You're not really facing too much damage on the board.
Right.
Your hand's starting to get thin. You don't have many options. You really want options here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and in this matchup, the 8 health isn't as important probably in that situation as just getting some more cards in your hand.
Yeah. Just don't.
All right, so now he picks up the Black Knight, too. That's a pretty juicy Black Knight.
That Defender of Argus really didn't have a point to it.
Yeah, just pushing for more damage, I guess. It's a couple turns that Roger's taken that I think a little bit questionable.
Yeah, it seems like he was just throwing it out for the heck of it. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. There's not much difference than just leaving your Twilight Drake there.
Yeah.
And saving the Defender of Argus for when you actually need the extra damage or the extra defensive stats. Because this is just a really easy Black Knight for Trump to throw out there, and he's not even making him work for it. It's just a big swing that was just unnecessary for Roger to put himself in that position.
Right. Well, now Roger, he's got the heal bot to buy a little bit of time. There's always Jiraxis to kind of try to get yourself back into this. But I'd usually probably want to say I'd save Jiraxis until after I've gone through my heal bots.
Yeah, and your Molten Giants is big as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Molten Giants, you can only... you can't even play them until you're below.
The least they can possibly cost you is 6? Because you're down to 1 health?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, but he goes for Jiraxis anyway. Like it.
It's bold.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? If I'm going to win this game, I'm gonna do it with the Eridar Lord of the Burning Legion himself.
Yeah, and now Trump's got to be feeling great because he knows that there's not going to be an opportunity for like double Molten Giant, Sun Fury.
Right, right.
He just needs to draw into equality, and then he pretty much is guaranteed to win. Is what it is. And even outside of that, he's still in a great spot. No potential for lethal here.
No, it doesn't look like it. Can't really summon enough minions to get those dream juggles that we saw
you can put him at
earlier
4.
in the day. And it looks like he's going to go for that. Going to put on as much pressure as he can. Going to force a heal bot out of the opponent here probably.
Yeah. Owl Shadow Flame might have to be a play.
Oh, yeah.
Is he going to leave it alive? I guess with the heal bot, he's still in a pretty safe spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Silverhand Recruit, you need to take that out right now because you're dangerously close to being within lethal range.
Jiraxis is one of those cards that when you see it, you need to finish Jiraxis as quickly as you can, too, though. The longer Jiraxis lives, the more he just outvalues you for just 2 mana every turn, you know?
Yeah,
and that weapon that lasts forever?
Dread Infernal Shadow Flame, too, is...
Yeah, exactly. Dread Infernal Sun Fury, Dread Infernal Defender of Argus. There's... Yeah, Jiraxis is one of those cards you want to finish as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
When he goes there.
Is when you need that equality.
Yeah, it really is.
Right about now would be great.
Yeah, and you can see Roger's got the silence in hand. He's got a Siphon Soul. He's got a Shadow Flame.
Yeah, he's sitting in a pretty good spot. And clearing off this anti-Q bot is the right play. Just because you don't want to give him any better Shadow Flame targets.
Right.
Or anything on the board that's going to threaten what you have. He needs to make a Shadow Flame play here or he's going to be dead the next turn.
Yeah.
So probably just silence.
Oh, silence his own Infernal in order to get it back up to 6 attack.
I actually like silencing the Sludge Belcher so you can actually push through and clear the whole board.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, this is silencing your own Dread Infernal is better because you're leaving yourself... Because you can attack first, and then Shadow Flame.
Right.
Still taking the same amount of damage, still being left with the just about the same board, except just a stronger Dread Infernal.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't really have to worry about any burst coming out of a Paladin either of all the classes. Now there's the equality. If things start to get a little too out of hand with those 6/6s.
Yeah, but he needs creatures.
Yeah, what's he got
like
here?
his second muster for battle.
Yeah, that would be pretty much exactly what he would need right now to, I think, give himself a chance to close this one out. But even a second muster for battle, as we can see, would get punished by the second Shadow Flame.
Yeah, he needs muster for battle, into equality consecrate, into Quartermaster for a kill.
There you go.
In reality, this actually could be pretty hard for Trump to close out.
Yeah, I think so. And again, the longer this goes, I think the more it plays right into Roger's strength here, which is just that hero power once you go to Jiraxis.
Yeah.
So powerful. Now he's got Dr. Boom, 2/6/6s.
Oh, jeez.
And he's like, yeah, so what? I'm at 7 health.
Yeah.
Bring it. Come get me.
7 health is pretty healthy against the Paladin. What are they going to do to get through 7 health?
Right, with an empty board like this, 2 quartermasters and not a single recruit.
I've got the beast in my sight.
He didn't even need Molten Giants.
No, he really
Infernal's like
didn't. Now, a bit of a desperation play here, I think, from Trump. But I think he's starting to see the writing on the wall a bit, too. This is going to be really intense. Just about impossible to outvalue Jiraxis here.
And he's he just puts him at 6.
Yeah, why not?
Which one should I shadow?
Yeah, exactly. Just that's short of Consecration coming off the top. That's got to be it. And even Consecration could wind up killing him with Boombots.
Yeah. Well, there's the muster for battle that he needed, but that's not going to be enough.
Nope.
Well played comes out, and Roger is going to take a 2-1 lead.
Well played. Oblivion! Sorry for that, for all of your ears watching at home. I couldn't.
My ears.
Couldn't resist the
My
Oblivion.
ears.
Yeah, definitely an impressive win there, I would say. Choosing to go with the Jiraxis before he saw either of his Molten Giants and before he even used his heal bot. Just, you know what? Here we go.
It's
if
not
I'm going
very
to win
often.
this, it's going to be aggressively.
Yeah, it's not very often that you can have a turn where you can safely Jiraxis and live to tell the tale the following turn. But if you can do it, there's not really many times where it's terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
Because those 6/6s every single turn are just, they're so devastating because especially with the double Shadow Flame, there's just so many combos that you can pull off. Your opponent will never be able to build up a board.
Yeah, just the mana efficiency of it is almost impossible to overcome if Jiraxis lives longer than 3 turns, maybe? Because at that point, he's already gotten... Well, if it's 3 turns, he's gotten 2 6/6s at least, because the first play, obviously, he can't use it. But he can use the weapon charge right away.
Unless you save the coin.
There you go. So, yeah, definitely taking the win in impressive fashion, using Jiraxis to maximum effect. Now, we're going to go into the next game.
It's Rogue. He's got to win with Rogue.
He's got to do it, right?
Yeah, and it could be a little bit tough. Because Trump has, of course, the Paladin and the Warrior, which are both decent against... oh, no. Paladin, no, actually.
Yeah, Paladin, you feel pretty good as the Rogue.
Yeah, so that actually isn't going to be that hard. I mean, I imagine Trump's going to go with the Warrior here, just to sneak that first win in.
Sure.
To take it to a Game 5. We've said before that, oh, well, if you're going to have to win with the Paladin anyway, you might as well throw it out. But a lot of the players have been leaning towards the strategy of trying to take the series as long as possible.
Right, right. Yeah, just keep yourself in it at the very least, you know what I mean? That way you don't just immediately get eliminated. And I think that makes sense, too, psychologically at least speaking, you know, like, hey, if I'm still in this, then I've still got a chance. Oh, and Trump does get the Warrior versus Rogue matchup he was looking for.
Yeah, this is a really rough matchup for Rogue. It's just hard for them to just break through all that armor.
Yeah.
They want creatures in this matchup because they want to be able to force the Warrior to spend a lot of his early turns playing super defensively and take a lot of damage just clearing creatures out. And there's your mulligan strategy against Warrior is a lot different than it would be against other classes. There's cards that you just wouldn't keep.
Yeah.
Unless you have, like, Coin SI isn't as strong against Warrior because you'll never find a time to use that.
Right.
Because against their only 2 early drops, Acolyte of Pain.
Both of them got 3 and 4 health respectively.
Yeah. Now Prep Sprint though is if you have that combination in your hand, I'd keep that. He throws away 1 sprint, but he gets it
Winds
back.
up picking it right back up though.
That's a big power play though. If you can coin Volley Teacher into Prep Sprint.
Oh yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
And Coin Volley Teacher usually doesn't have an answer unless the Warrior is able to build up quite a bit of armor early on and is able to shield slam it. But dagger up and hit faces. Hit it. There we go.
Better do it.
Yeah.
All right, so Trump, too, finds himself here in a situation that he hasn't been in yet this weekend, down in a series. How do you think he's feeling psychologically?
Judging by his face, I have no idea.
He looks focused.
Yeah.
He looks just like...
Or tired.
maybe tired.
Maybe
yeah.
a little bit hungry.
You just want to see Trump eat.
Yeah. I was talking with all of the production crew yesterday. I was saying one of the things that's on the top of my things I would pay to see list is Trump eating, because you never see it.
No?
You watch his stream, he puts up an overlay when he eats.
Yeah.
You never even hear it.
I don't know if I'd want to hear it. It does look like we're having a quick minor issue with getting to see Trump's hand here. But we'll see what he's going to wind up putting down in response to this Violet Teacher as we're getting back in up top.
Can't deal with it right away.
Yeah.
Well, he can actually. He does have an execute, so he can hit it and then execute it.
Yeah. And that's the choice he winds up making.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, Violet Teacher's probably one of the scariest targets you see in the Rogue deck, until something gets the Tinker's Oil on it, of course.
Yeah.
You know, but what else really in this matchup are you going to execute?
And even though you have to take that face damage to be able to proc the execute, you still have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't let him get out of hand with that.
Shield slam in the 2-2.
Shield slam in the 2-2.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Bane of Doom when you need it.
I think. Okay, so he's got Death's Bite to deal with this Azure Drake.
Creature after creature after creature. But Trump just has those answers ready.
Yeah.
Ready and available.
He did get the armor up, right? Okay, yeah. Sometimes I see that end turn on Spectator, and it just worries me a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so now that you see the opponent with, you just throw the other Azure Drake, just sacrifice it for the card draw?
Yeah.
Rough life versus Warrior.
I mean, he's still doing damage with these cards. Azure Drake, when you're forcing with weapons, I mean, he's at 21 health right now. That's more than you can hope for.
Yeah, that's true.
He does have a lot of longevity in his hand. He's got prep sprint and a lot of card draw, so he's going to be able to last a long time. The one thing he needs, see this, Dr. Boom is one of the toughest cards to deal with when you're a rogue.
Right.
Because a lot of times, I talk about all the time, one of the ways, the main ways you lose as a rogue is just getting pressured. And Dr. Boom offers so much pressure because of the damage that you're almost guaranteed to take to your face from the Doombots. Because usually you're playing from an empty board. And a lot of times you end up, that's a really clean way to deal with it, but a lot of times you end up having to hit it with your face.
Yeah.
And then blade flurrying just to deal with it. And you take so much damage from hitting the Dr. Boom with your face, plus the residual damage from the Boombots.
Yeah.
He's lucky that he could deal with it that cleanly.
Yeah, that was nice. It wound up working out pretty decently for him. But now we're going to start to see Trump just start to build up that armor, start to have big scary card after big scary card here with the Sylvanas and Alexstrasza already in hand. Sludge Belcher to sneak things behind if he has to.
Yeah. Well, this turn, he can actually put on quite a bit of damage. If he redaggers, Deadly Poisons, Hit Face, Blade Flurries, and then SI Agents. But it looks like he's just going to...
Just playing it a little bit slower and safer than that. And just trying to chew through that armor as much as he can. And I guess that makes sense, right? Because that's the way you're going to win this match, is with that one big crazy turn before the Warrior can get up to like 12, 15, even more armor than that.
Yeah. I don't know if I necessarily like that, though. In this play, you're holding on to one of your Blade Flurries, but you're doing the same amount of damage to face. Actually doing less damage to face, 3 less damage to face, and you're leaving the Shield Maiden on the board. If he had redaggered, Deadly Poison, Hit Face, Blade Flurried, and then SI Agent the Shield Maiden, he would have had less armor, he would have 1 less creature on the board, but the Warrior wouldn't have the Shield Maiden.
Yeah.
And his creatures would have been, the creature that he did have on the board would have been at least a little bit more protected because he wouldn't be facing up against the Shield Maiden.
Right.
The only thing I can think of why he went with this route of play was because he wanted to hold on to the Blade Flurry, because that is the only one that he has.
Yeah.
For maybe a little bit bigger of a board clear.
Now, Trump is asking himself, I think, here, if he feels safe enough with his health total to Alexstrasza right now.
Yeah.
I
think so.
And he does.
Like I said, the one way you beat rogues is pressure.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot more pressure you can do than Alex Straza coming and dropping you 12 health, was that was?
Yeah, I think if you Alex Straza there, you hit face with the Shield Maiden.
Mm-hmm.
Because he already has a creature on the board, so he's
For
going to be able to
oil.
get oil anyway.
Right.
This gives him a guaranteed like target that he's going to get oil on.
Yeah.
Ooh, the sap.
Sap on Alex Straza.
Wow.
So now that you've sapped Alex Straza, you have to finish him before. You can't get him down to 1 or 2 health.
No,
you have to actually finish him.
Yeah.
Because you know you just gave him that heal right back.
Yeah.
And now he's counting it up in his hand, too. He's got the South Sea deckhand, the oil, the flurry, the poison.
I mean, it's possible.
He might be able to do this.
He used Sludge Belcher. He saps it. You could die.
Ooh, okay. So Trump maybe knowing, maybe making a read that he's in a bit of a sticky situation now off of that last play that the Rogue just made.
Bit of a pickle.
Yeah, if you see your own Alex Straza get sapped, you're wondering, oh my gosh, are you serious right now? That means you think you can kill me in 1 turn.
Yeah.
Kind of forces you to play the Belcher in that scenario.
Yeah. All right. Well, this turn depends how much he wants to play around Brawl. He could make a lot of 1/1s and be able to clear pretty efficiently.
Yeah.
He could Violet Teacher, Fan of Knives, eviscerate the Sludge Belcher, and then he could trade what he has left with the like the SI Agent into the last slime, a dagger into the other one. That would put him in range of Grommash and Cruel Taskmaster.
So the question is, so without sap available, he needs to effectively be able to deal 30 points of damage right now because the Sludge Belcher represents 7 health. And then, you know, Trump's sitting at 23 with his armor as well right now. So he has the mana to...
Okay. Well, this puts him reasonably close to 15 health.
Right.
And a strong board.
That's true.
So if he Alex draws this next turn, he will most likely still have enough damage to kill him. Because he's got 8 damage on board.
Baron Geddon.
Yeah, he would have enough damage in hand.
That's tough.
Yeah, Baron Geddon seems reasonable, but also you're sort of
brings you down to 9.
Yeah, you can armor up afterwards.
Well, you have to armor up before, actually, Baron Geddon, because he's at the end of the turn.
Yeah, after you played it. I mean,
yeah.
But it's your best chance of removing as much damage as possible. You're effectively taking 2 damage yourself, but you're removing 5 damage from the board.
Right.
He could like play Sylvanas and execute, or play Emperor and execute.
That's still, yeah.
Because he actually does have the potential to do 15 damage next turn.
Yeah.
He's got 8 damage facing on board, plus South Sea Deckhand is 10, Eviscerate 14, and the dagger would be 15. And you have to think, if you're in Trump's shoes right now, that he's probably got it. And if he Alex Straws is here...
Oh, he's...
Wow!
Wait!
He can execute, he can execute.
Okay, okay, I was going to say, he's dead, isn't he, with the South Sea and the... He's already counting up, Roger is
but
wondering.
he only needs 3 damage. That's not 3 damage.
So with Thalnos, Eviscerate will be 5. That'll bring him to 10. Then he'll be down to 5. Dagger and South Sea. He does need a little more damage, so you got to start with Fan of Knives.
Yeah, I think he needs 2 more damage here. That's it.
That did it.
Wow.
There you have it. Blood
Does he have
Mage.
enough mana? Exactly.
He has
7 mana.
Yeah, he's got plenty of mana. There it is. Blood Mage, Eviscerate for 5. Swing with everything. Deckhand. And then Blade Flurry for 2.
Wow. He's got to make sure that he South Seas before he Blade Flurries, though.
He eviscerated. Did he just miss lethal, or are we bad at counting still?
Okay, so he had 5 damage on board.
Yeah, and then he had 5 from Eviscerate. That's 10. And then 2 from South Sea Deckhand.
1 from the dagger. And 2 from
the Blade Flurry. He totally just missed lethal.
And he had 7 mana total with 7 mana.
No.
Wow.
If Trump is able to come back into this game, we can't. We've got to be wrong.
I don't know.
Oh, this silence is killing me inside too. I need you to affirm.
All right.
Me.
We were wrong.
We were wrong. We're gonna go with we were wrong. That Roger knows better
he
than
didn't
us.
have enough mana
What now?
because he Fan of Knives first.
You're right.
No,
'Cause-
he did
no.
have enough mana.
Because he redaggered at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
So he totally. Wait, no.
Instant replay, please.
Yes, we'll figure this out after this match.
I'm pretty sure he had it
Mm-hmm.
because he Blood Mage, Fan of Knives. That was 5 mana total. He
Yeah.
needed Eviscerate, Sousy Deckhand, and Blade Flurry. He had a fresh dagger,
Yeah, he had a
At the
fresh
beginning
dagger
of
at
the
the start
turn.
of the turn.
and he definitely had 5 damage on board.
Yep.
So that's exactly 15 damage that he had.
Wow.
Well, I guess we can get back to the match.
Yeah, yeah. I
Perhaps.
mean, we're gonna have to here.
Yeah. He does have Sprint, so,
Mhm.
but he's running out of cards, and I don't know how much burn he has left.
Oh man.
Ooh, he's one. Now, Trump is 1 damage off.
Yeah, Trump doesn't have. Oh wow.
He missed it. He had to have missed it.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Trump is 1 damage off with Grom Taskmaster. Roger, I'm pretty sure had lethal there.
Yeah. He has to Grom here, I think. He
Yeah.
has to Grom and
It's a-
armor up.
Yeah, Grom to clear actually.
Yeah.
What
It's
now?
likely that Roger will still win, but if he doesn't,
Yeah, if Trump gets back into this game and wins this game, and Roger winds up going back and looking at this again and kicking himself, if we were right, which we'll have to verify.
we're never right. But
We are
if
never
are-
right, but I think this is one of our most likely times that we were right.
Yeah. We had 2 brains. He had 1 brain.
Oh, well, he picks up the sap here. That'll keep him alive. But, yeah, it will.
He's out of cards. He loses.
He is. He's
because
out of
all he has to
cards.
do is Grom, Cruel Taskmaster. Next turn, he'll take 1 point of fatigue damage.
Yeah.
That's 13.
There it is. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
We're gonna
He
have
lost.
to. We're gonna have to see this again.
As long as Trump sees this, because he's got to realize that he's going to take a point of fatigue damage the following turn.
Yeah.
Just Grom, Cruel Taskmaster
Well,
wins
Trump
him
knows.
the game.
Trump knows he's gonna take fatigue. Trump is experienced of enough of a player. I
Is he
think.
though? Because this is an automatic play.
Yeah, it's true.
Are we
Oh,
going to have
Trump,
2
don't
mislethals?
you miss it too.
No!
Trump, the one time we were right.
Just do it.
For great justice, you have to.
I'm trying to look at the trajectory of his eyeballs.
He armors up!
Oh
He armors up!
To work.
Oh my gosh, Tinkers!
I'm done. I quit. We need a new caster.
What is happening in this game? Wow. Trump just realized it too.
Oh no!
He just realized it. No.
See, but Roger still doesn't.
Roger
have it.
still can't finish him.
So
Yeah.
he's going to take 2 points of fatigue damage next turn.
Which means Trump has to try to deal 10 right now.
So he needs 10 damage. He has Fire War Axe. I don't think
He needs a way to
He doesn't
activate
have-
Grom.
he
and
doesn't
doesn't have it.
Shield Slam.
No,
Death
he
Spite's
spent,
too late.
Death Spite is
Trump
too late.
Base
Trump.
Palms. And
Oh no. Okay, we definitely had 1 missed lethal there. We need to go back and verify on the Roger.
92% sure.
Oh my goodness, what a crazy game.
Trump was handed this game on a silver platter.
He really was, yeah.
And then he said, Roger, screw your silver platter. You can have it back.
Oh gosh, look at Trump.
There's no way out of it.
Yeah, no, he's out now. He's out. He was going to stay in the series
He can
with 1 game to make it to the finals.
Grom into the Earthen Ring Farseer and then armor up.
Yeah.
And in theory, he's alive.
Okay.
Hopefully someday we'll see Roger's hand again.
Oh, wow.
Well played.
Wow. That's really rough.
Well played.
Jeez.
And the Sharp Sword
And-
right on time.
Wow. Poor Poor Trump.
Ouch.
He knows, too. He realized it as soon as Roger tried to draw a card and took 1 damage of fatigue. Did you see the look on Trump's face? He's like, wait a second. I could have dealt 12. Like, you could just, oh my goodness. What? I have no words. I have no words. That was incredible. But anyway, Trump out of the tournament.
Yep.
There's always next week.
He had a rough road ahead of him.
Yeah.
He had to win 2 matches in a row. He was down 3-1, but
That's true.
that's still heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I mean, he should have lost the game in the first place because Roger, we think,
Yeah.
missed that lethal as well. But that always, especially when you realize it right after,
Right.
and it knocks you out of the tournament. It's
Yeah,
really rough.
that's you don't want to go out like that. You know, if you're going to go out but you played your best, then you feel all right. You say, okay, maybe the cards just didn't fall in my direction this time. No problem. I don't think I made any glaring mistakes or anything.
Yeah.
But when you go out like that, in that sort of a fashion, that's when it stings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
Roger is going to move on to the finals, though, so he's only got to win 1 more best of 5,
Yep.
and he gets that automatic invite to our LAN finals that will be happening in June. And that's a pretty big deal. You get a trip to Southern California, get to come and join us at the Burbank studios here.
Yeah,
You get to
absolutely.
shake my hand.
An honor and a privilege,
You
TJ.
get a pat on the back and a high five.
Yeah, you'll get to see me running around the studio yelling at production assistants.
We can hold hands and go get falafel.
I love it. All right. Wow. So maybe not the highest level play we've ever seen on the Hearthstone Legendary Series.
No, but definitely an exciting
unfortunately,
series.
but definitely awesome to watch. Now, of course, we do have this new segment, though, that we're presenting to you every week that we have a show now, the Pro Perspective. Let's go ahead and take a look at this week's puzzle that you can enter to win some packs on Facebook.com/ESL Hearthstone. This was provided to us, again, by Freshka, and he finds himself in this situation with his own Sylvanas facing down the Sylvanas of his stylish mage opponent. What would you do? What do you think Freshka would do? Submit your answer on our Facebook page. /ESL Hearthstone is the Facebook page. And if you are correct and you choose exactly what Freshka did, which we'll reveal later on in the show today, you'll be entered into a raffle to win 5. TJ, and I'm waiting to hear your reaction on this one. 5 Classic Expert Packs.
Yeah. I'm not going to have a reaction.
But that in itself was a reaction.
Yeah. I told you before that I was going to have the weirdest reactions to 5 expert packs that I could possibly have.
He did. He told me that.
What's better than 5 expert packs?
You tell me.
6 expert packs.
That's true. All right. Now, of course, we want to thank our sponsors for making this contest possible. Thank you, Plantronics. Thank you, Gigabyte, for the continued support of the Hearthstone Legendary Series. We want to hear what you have to say as well, everybody watching at home, on all the other social media outlets. So go ahead and use that hashtag HLS. And that's at ESL Hearthstone. And of course, we do have other giveaways besides just this Pro Perspective segment. ESL.gg/legendary giveaway. You can enter the raffle to win packs, or maybe even one of the few lucky ones who will win a Plantronics rig headset. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, and is the Plantronics headset in packs? You put those on a weighted.
That's right.
I think Plantronics headset's a little better.
Well, everything we're trying to do here will make you win. You've already learned from the commercials that with Plantronics, you're going to win. All right? And, of course, PAX is how you're going to also help yourself win. Anyway, we will be right back with the semifinal number 2. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Hearthstone Legendary Series.
My